Let's get you right to team coverage of this morning's breaking news. The state Supreme Court has ruled tolls at the downtown tunnel and midtown tunnel can go forward.
10 on Your Side was first to report this ruling, which many in the region already call a costly disappointment. The state Supreme Court reversed a Portsmouth judge's ruling tolls amounted to an unconstitutional tax. The ruling allows tolls on drivers at the tunnels as soon as February. We're on your side with 4 reporters covering exactly what the decision means and how it impacts you. We begin with 10 on Your Side's Aaron Kelly, who was in the courtroom in Richmond when the ruling came down. Aaron?
Well, this is the 52-page decision, and we heard that decision just after 9 here at the Supreme Court. We came outside as soon as we heard it, and 2 months ago, supporters and opponents of those tolls made their arguments here before the Supreme Court, and today that decision came down. Here's what it said. They are reversing a decision from a Portsmouth judge that would have stopped tolls at the midtown and downtown tunnels. Those tolls were scheduled to start next February, and they will go forward. Now, the justices ruled that the tolls are user fees and not taxes, as some Portsmouth businesses had argued. The court said the General Assembly properly used its power to set the rates of tolls to VDOT. Now, opponents of the tolls have argued that unelected bodies cannot set the rate of return on these tolls, and this decision was a huge blow to Patrick McSweeney and the Portsmouth businesses that he represented in this fight.
Elected officials ought to be accountable for imposing things. When you take money from one person's pocket and put it in another's, that clearly is something that elected officials ought to be accountable for, not through layers, not through unelected people and bureaucrats.
Now, McSweeney says he is still going through this opinion, trying to understand it better. He says that it has widespread ramifications for Virginia. Live in Richmond, Aaron Kelly, 10 on Your Side.
All right, Aaron, thanks. The Governor Bob McDonnell just sent us his statement on the tolls decision. He applauds the ruling, saying in part, while we understand the financial impact this toll will have on local commuters, the Elizabeth River Tunnel project is a necessity to ensuring ongoing safety and economic development in the region.
And from Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli, who's also running to be Virginia's next governor, while I understand some people in Hampton Roads dislike these tolls, Virginia's Public-Private Transportation Act is a significant law that makes it possible to develop major transportation projects that might not otherwise be built. Needless to say, a lot of reaction here in Hampton Roads coming from this decision.
And a lot of frustration. We'll begin this part of our coverage with 10 Your Side's Andy Fox, who has been following the toll debate from the beginning.
He's live at the downtown tunnel with more on what Portsmouth residents and business owners have to say. And Andy, there's no doubt Portsmouth may take the brunt of this ruling.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And as Aaron Kelly was reporting from Richmond, the most devastating line in this entire decision for the no tolls group is this one on page 30. Project tolls are not taxes. The project tolls are user fees. That this is one entire project, downtown tunnel, Martin Luther King extension, midtown tunnel, and that they are putting, as you can see, the gantries behind me, the toll gantries are right here already up. That tolls paid here, it is reasonable that the money raised here goes for the entire project. They said, the justices did, that there is a reasonable alternative for them to go not to use the tolls. They could go the Gilmerton Bridge or the high-rise bridge. But as 10 on Your Side did in our investigation, to go from this spot right here all the way to the other side of the downtown tunnel across the high-rise bridge is 20 miles. 20 miles. To go from here through the tunnel is 1 mile. There's a big difference. And today, the No Tolls group devastated by this decision. Yeah, we're getting word from Richmond that the decision was reversed. At Brody's restaurant in downtown Portsmouth, you could have heard a pin drop. It was sad and quiet and deflating.
Obviously, this is very disappointing. I do want to thank all the citizens of Hampton Roads and Portsmouth that stuck together throughout this fight. It was one mission, one fight, one cause, and we stayed together.
Portsmouth businessman Charles Greenhood.
This is going to mean total devastation to the Hampton Roads economy and opens the door to unprecedented tolling.
The decision by the state Supreme Court was unanimous against the no toll supporters. The decision was unanimous. What do you think?
It's insane. It's not even. It's unthinkable. It could be unanimous. Not one justice.
Unanimous? No.
All Portsmouth Mayor Kenny Wright can do is just shake his head. No Tolls organizer Terry Danaher looking to the next round in the fight, although acknowledges they are bloody and badly beaten right now.
To look at the federal level and to go to the environmental justice aspect of this, where we look at economic impact and environmental impact.
Yeah, so the No Tolls group already trying to figure out what their next move is, but the options right now are very limited. It is clear, though, from the decision that the tolls are constitutional, and they are constitutional because they are authorized through the General Assembly, through the Public-Private Transportation Act, and that makes them legal, and that makes the tolls legal, and that makes the entire project legal, because they have to assume, and they are assuming, that the law is through the General Assembly, through the Public-Private Transportation Act, which authorized this entire deal. Now, standing by live in downtown Portsmouth, my colleague Ava Hurdle, talking to business people who are going to be hit hard by this final decision.
Andy, business owners aren't too thrilled about this decision. In fact, they fear that there'll be less traffic, fewer customers here, impacting their bottom line. Some owners even angry about it. We caught up with a restaurant owner who weighed in on the ruling.
I think it's going to have a horrible effect on downtown Portsmouth. I mean, it's already an economically struggling area, you know, and I think that what we've seen from the tunnel closings is just a precursor.
Tonight at 5 and 6, hear from other business owners about this decision. We're live in Portsmouth. Ava Hurdle, 10 on your side.
Ava, thank you. So now that the decision is made, it's going to cost you a bit of money once the sensors on both tunnels are fired up come February. 10 on your side, Cheryl Tan spent the morning crunching the numbers. She's live in the newsroom now with what it means for your bottom line. Cheryl?
Don, Andy just said it. The most direct options for travelers between Norfolk and Portsmouth just got a whole lot more expensive starting February 1st. If you know you'll be traveling regularly through the downtown tunnel and midtown tunnel, your money saver is getting an Easy Pass, which you can buy online and at other locations. Here's a look at why. With an Easy Pass, you'll be charged $1.84 during peak times between 5:30 to 9 a.m. and 2:30 to 7 p.m. weekdays. All other times are considered non-peak, when you'll pay $1.59. If you're in a truck, it's higher. Peak rate for truckers, $7.36, off-peak, $4.77. So if you travel either of these two tunnels twice a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year, you'll pay almost $957 a year to get to work and back. So let's take a look at other options now. One is the South Norfolk Jordan Bridge, which also carries a toll that will cost $1.50 each way with an Easy Pass. Two more options are available that don't cost money in tolls, but it could mean you spend more in gas. The I-64 high-rise bridge to George Washington Highway, or the Yelmerton Bridge on Military Highway in Chesapeake. Now, I mentioned earlier it was a good idea to get that Easy Pass. You can still travel through the tunnels if you don't have one, but you will be sent a bill through what's called the Pay-by-Plate program for an added $3.18. Lots of details on this, including where to buy an Easy Pass on WAVY.com. Live in the newsroom, Cheryl Tan, 10 on your side.
All right, Cheryl, thanks. Now we continue to get reaction to this breaking news. The tolls at the tunnels will be allowed to go on. We'll continue our live team coverage of this important decision on WAVY News 10 at 5. Plus, right now on WAVY.com, you can read the full decision as well as see all of the stories we've covered since the toll debate began. And remember to sign up for alerts on this story and issues with traffic at the tunnel, which you'll get delivered right to your smartphone.